Hello, welcome to a VO's Journey. My name is Anthony, and this show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business, sidestep all the crazy things that this guy seems to step on. Today's show, we're going to talk about how to stay positive in the face of rejection. All right, I think this is an important topic for us to discuss. So much of what we go through as voice actors is, challenging to continue to get ourselves in the right frame of mind in order to do this thing right. You know what I mean? Because the fact of the matter is that we are going to get rejected a lot. So starting off the whole video, just let's get this out and open. I want you to understand that you're going to get a lot of rejection from the auditions that you do, the work you put out there. There's just going to be a lot of people who are not looking for you at this moment. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is when you start, because I remember this, when you start, you're going to go through this phase where until and this is going to be different for everybody, but until you start to get steady work, you're always going to have this nagging little voice in the back of your mind that says, you see, you're not good enough. You see, you're an imposter. You see, they knew it. I knew it. I suck. Okay? Whenever you put something out there and someone's like, no, thank you, or they don't respond to you, or they don't get back to you, you're always going to wonder. You're always going to think, oh, aha, I knew it. I suck. Right? You could start doing jobs and getting work even, and one person comes back and they're like, we don't like this, or it needs to be different. You're gonna be like, I knew it. I'm the worst voice actor. I knew it. I shouldn't be doing this. I remember this. This happened to me a lot, right? When I was first starting, and it didn't go away per se until I did quite a few hundred, maybe 500 to 1,000 voiceovers. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be you. I'm not saying it's going to take you that long. But what I'm trying to say is that I was always worried, right, of being rejected. And when I did get rejected, I felt really miserable about it because I thought something was wrong with me. Okay. But then what happens after a while, okay, and getting into like part 3 of this, what happens after a while is that you begin to realize, okay, that there's a huge world out there of all kinds of people who are looking for you. But then there's a lot of stuff out there that you're not right for at that moment because of the subjective nature of the person who is choosing that voice actor, that spot for any given moment, right? And it's not that you stink or you're not good. It's that you don't fit that particular thing in their mind at that moment. Okay, it might have nothing to do with how good your acting is. It has nothing to do with the quality of your audio. It has nothing to do with any of that. It could be 9 times out of 10 that you're just not what they're looking for at that moment, and you've done nothing wrong. Right? I always say that, like I said, I'm not going to ever be cast in a TV movie or a play for as a 6'4" basketball player because I'm 5'8". I'm not that tall. So I would never be cast for that. That has nothing to do with how good of an actor I am. It has nothing to do with if I can play basketball or not. It has to do with the fact that the part calls for a certain height player, right? And I'm not that. But that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. And I think that goes, and this just goes on to what we're talking about here. Rejection is a part of what we have to deal with on a daily basis. But I want to kind of take all that information I just said and turn it around when we talk about rejection. Rejection has such a, I don't know, it's just it just feels bad, like rejected. Right? It just doesn't feel good, and I think rejected makes it sound like you personally have been, attacked or, that you yourself is the problem. And I want to change this around to say, again, 9 times out of 10, you're not being rejected because of anything that you've done or that you could have done. You're being not chosen because there's something else in mind. And what makes it even harder for us is that we don't get a lot of feedback from people who are, going, like, who are actually casting, because they don't have time. So they're not going to give us feedback on it. They're not going to message you back and be like, hey, I didn't choose you. You were great, but I didn't choose you because I was actually looking for this tone in the voice, and yours was a little deeper, yours was a little higher, or yours was a little faster, yours was a little slower, or, I was looking for this kind of feel, and I love your voice, but it's not that kind. Like, we don't get that feedback. I wish we did, but we don't, from potential buyers. And a lot of times that's also because they don't even really know what they're looking for all the time. They just know when they hear it. Okay, I mean, so the point is that I want you to just, understand that you're not being rejected. You're just not the right fit at that moment for that piece, but it has nothing to do with you or your abilities. Now, with all that being said, there is a small possibility that those things actually do matter. Like, I mean, in that particular situation, like your audio. Maybe your audio is not up to par, and maybe you could be a better storyteller. We always can work on being a better storyteller. So that's why I always say, no matter what, you should be taking classes. You should be growing as a performer, as a voice actor. You should be getting better. Make sure your audio is up to par, right? Make sure professionals have listened to it and give you the green light. And the reason why I say that, too, is because you need someone else to listen. Because someone else to give you feedback, where you don't have that luxury. With a lot of times people, they're not going to say anything to you because they don't have time to give everybody feedback. But it's important to work and train on think about it, every sport, every field that you go into, right, where you offer a service, where you're helping someone, you get training. Everything. And most of these people continuously train their entire life. Why would voice acting or acting in general be any different? It's not. All right. So we always need to be training. So with that being said, you know what I mean? You're always working on your craft. So, but once we get past this part of being, worried about, is my audio okay? You know what I mean? And you might say, okay, well, Anthony, that's the whole point. I'm being rejected. I think it's because of my acting. Well, if that's the case, then you do need, get with a community. Join, a VO's Journey Elite Academy or wherever. Join somewhere where you can get feedback and you can get training so you can eliminate that worry. All right. But again, even then, I'm just being honest with you. 9 times out of 10, it's just, you just don't fit what they're looking for at that moment. So the rejection that you're feeling is natural. It's a part of what we have to go through, but it is not the end of the world. It does not mean you shouldn't be a voice actor, all right? It does not mean that you should give up or that you're wrong for doing this or that you don't have a bright future ahead of you. It just means that you've got to keep trying and moving forward. It's interesting because what we typically do or we say is, this thing is a numbers game. And why do we say it's a numbers game? Like, for example, for auditions, if you say, well, I did an audition, but I didn't get the job. Does that mean you suck? Does it mean you were rejected? Or does it mean in that particular audition, the one audition you did, you just didn't fit what they were looking for at that moment? But maybe there was nothing you could have done to fit it. But that doesn't mean that you did something wrong. However, you didn't win the audition, which means that if you want to get a job, you have to do another audition and another audition and another audition and another audition until you fit what they're looking for. And because of the nature of how fast our work is, right? It's a benefit and it's also a curse. Because how fast our work is, we have to do a lot of auditioning. And it's a numbers game. The more auditions you do, the more likelihood that you're going to get work. And you start to see patterns. You know what I mean? I always say, like, with ACX, an Audible, 10 to 12 auditions usually gets you a contract. All right. That can vary, but that's pretty standard across the board. Right. So you're talking about that's a 10%. Some other places it can be between 2 to 4% of your auditions, like the jobs to auditions and so forth. Like, there's patterns. After you do this for a while, you'll start to see. And what you realize is no matter what you do or who you are or what voice actor you are, those patterns pretty much hold true for everyone. So that leads you to believe, or it leads logically to say that it's not like you yourself are being rejected because of who you are, or what you're doing. It's because you just didn't fit for that particular moment. So don't fret. Keep going. You're doing great. There's a lot of explosive growth right now in the audio entertainment side of things, right? And audio dramas, meditations, audiobooks, podcasting. The entertainment side is booming, and it's not being crushed by AI. All right, there's a lot of other wonderful stuff still going on, but there's so much of that word, because we as creators, whether we're authors, writers, narrators, actors, or whatever, we've rejected AI. We're not. It's not. No one wants to listen to an AI for hours on end. All right, that part of the industry is just booming. It's growing like crazy, and it's not slowing down. Especially, TV and video movies aren't that good anymore. So, right, there's just so much more audio entertainment that's available for us. So don't fret. I promise you, you can do it. You can make it. Let the rejection go and think of it as just another number on a piece of paper that says, the more numbers I put on here, the more opportunities I have. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure, as always, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, just so you know, we have an exciting special coming up to join Avio's Journey Elite Academy, Valentine's Day and Valentine's Day week next week. Starting in Monday, we're going to be running a really exciting special to give us a try and to join Avio's Journey Elite Academy, so you're not going to want to miss that. And there'll be more, of course, when that goes live next week. So anyways, you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.